Checkmates is recorded in front of a live engineer, Lou Kellen, putting the mic check in Checkmates.
A checkmates. A checkmates. A checkmates. A checkmates.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Checkmates.
Ooh, yeah.
My name's Nick Welsh,
I'm Daniel Garrichter.
and you are so lucky because you found yourself at the inaugural episode of this podcast, a show where we take the things and the stuff that we love and cram it onto a chessboard.
That's right. I want to talk a little bit about how this show came to be.
Sir, indulge me in your story-based telling.
Right quick, Nick and I hanging out on a porch, beautiful day in the summer, and I say, hey, what if we took like our favorite TV shows or our favorite movies or comic books and took all the characters and put them on spaces on a chessboard? Wouldn't that be a fun way to pass the time?
And I said, that's a great idea, sir. Why don't we tell people I came up with the idea? And
You said, I think that's a fantastic idea for a podcast. And you pushed me, and here we are. And I'm very excited to get this started.
to be fair, I've said a lot of things while I've been drinking. You know, I love you. Lots of stuff, you know. It's you know, you can't judge that. But waking up the next day, fantastic idea. And listeners, where else could we start than the chessboard that inspired the idea?
Yeah, there's actually an actual existent chessboard for what we're about to do, but it sucks. So we're starting this podcast, of course, with The Simpsons. We're not going to do the whole theme song.
Really, I could, but I'd like to do it in like a kazoo
Oh, we need a kazoo.
or an accordion, something abrasive.
All right, make a note that we're going to buy a kazoo.
Okay, so people, here's what we're going to do, okay? We're going to have protagonists versus antagonists from The Simpsons. Good guys versus bad guys, if you want to get layman's with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're going to fill the back line with characters that really fit those pieces. The king of the show, the queen of the show. You know, the bishops, the thoughtful, the representative, the knights, the powerhouses, the effectors, and of course the pawns, just those characters that make life enjoyable.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's a simple premise. And with that, it is time for the first half of a Checkmates chessboard. Sir, let's backline this.
Yeah, so...
I mean, I'd ask you to give me the king and queen of this chessboard, or we could just both sit here in silence for the next minute and move straight to bishops.
God. The king and queen are the king and queen of the show, Homer and Marge.
I mean, it's too obvious to even I could try and be smarky and make it like Gil and Wong, the estate agent.
She's number one on the west side.
She is number one on the west side. Don't come into her territory. But no, it's Homer, it's Marge. We can't do anything else about it.
I mean, what else would you go with? She came and she brought him a turkey on his vacation away from worky.
God, I love that.
It's so good.
It's why you drive your truck right off the interstate. I don't remember her song as much. It wasn't as good. Be careful, listeners. I will be singing See My Vest at some point in this episode.
Can't not.
Yeah. King and Queen, Homer and Marge. No argument here. No argument from the empty comments board. My bishops, sir, and I'm trying to get this show to make sense. My bishops represent, intellectual ideas in society and culture, pillars of society. My first being the church, Ned Flanders.
Okay. Yeah, I love that Ned Flanders is being held so close. My first bishop was Grandpa, but I don't really want to make such a case for it.
I don't know if Grandpa... I feel like Ned Flanders gets more airtime than Grandpa. I feel like he's not as an important character, and he certainly doesn't have any kind of input into the show in terms of a moral standpoint.
No, and my super binary ass logic here was like, just go with the family, and like, you don't have to do that.
You know, we're better than that, sir.
You might be.
I'm better than that, and the listeners want more from you than this.
Our listeners are better than
We
that.
need to get outside that box, sir, and that's why, with one side represented the church by Ned Flanders, my other side, represents a state by being an education. It's Principal Skinner.
Principal Skinner. I love it. Yeah, again, I had Patty and Selma as a double piece because, again, they're part of the family, the immediate family, and they're like an influence on Marge, but I didn't really think it through that much. I think you have, and I really like where you're going with it. So
I cannot believe that we are 5 minutes and 10 seconds into the first episode and I already have to issue an apology because of you. Listeners, I'm sorry that my partner just came up with the worst idea for a bishop ever. I mean, the premise of the show hasn't exactly been fleshed out. I'll tell you right now, sir, get back to that chalkboard and learn some stuff.
and like write the same thing over and over and over again.
Precisely, sir.
Right.
I feel like our listeners are intelligent enough that they got that reference, but thank you for pointing it out straight.
The Simpsons is nothing but references. Let's do Knights.
Okay, yeah, because we're just going with my idea, right?
Yeah.
You're done. Okay, Knights, I don't think we're going to argue here, because I don't think we have a choice except to go with, help me out, sir,
Bart,
and Lisa.
the Bartman.
Yeah, the Bartman, the man that wants you to eat his shorts.
Remember when the show was entirely about Bart?
It literally, people used to say, oh, I love the Bart Simpson show. People used to actually prefix it with a word that wasn't in the title.
People called it the Bart Simpson show?
Yes, on more than one occasion.
Ugh.
I will say that I did used to own a grey jumper with a picture of Bart on it with a skateboard, and it just said, don't have a cow, man, and I felt very cool every time I put it on.
Did you ever own any of the bootleg ones that are out there?
No, sir. No, I didn't.
They were
In fact,
so stupid.
The only people that were I went up against me were the kids with the Mario shirts, which at that point you couldn't buy from Giant Tiger for $5, and were in
right.
fact incredibly expensive.
I liked the Giant Tiger reference. I like it a lot. Those bootleg shirts are actually worth a fortune, just so we know.
I have zero of them, sir. I have a really bad bootleg Jeff and Matt Hardy t-shirt, but that's for another podcast.
That's for another podcast. About bootleg
Okay,
t-shirts.
so it's Bart and it's Lisa. They're on their horses, and you know what, sir? I would love to see the pets in there too.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you said on their horses. How about if Lisa is on her horse, right? And Bart is on Stampy.
I do love Stampy. You know what,
He's
sir?
such a dick.
You know what, sir? That's a lock.
Okay,
That's a lock.
okay. I didn't
But-
think you were going to fight me on that.
But sir, I'll tell you right now, I also want Bart to be accompanied by Santa's Little Helper. I want
yeah.
Lisa to be accompanied by Snowball 1. Curveball listeners, not Snowball 2. Shut your mouths. We're getting
Snowball
down.
1.
We are getting elitist with our opinions. Okay, great. I love it. Now,
Rooks.
Rooks, sir. Now, listeners, here's the thing. Rooks will not be characters. Rooks will be iconic images from whatever the show's about that we're doing this particular week.
Yep.
Okay? So, there has to be something that fits the shape quite well as well. Now, there's a lot of stuff in The Simpsons, and we talked about it. There was the couch.
Yep.
You know, there was Lard Lad.
Love it.
You know, there was possibly a tower of Jebediah Springfield.
Oh, without the head?
Yeah, but I got a twist coming a little later. Spoiler, listeners. But I think we have to. It's the TV.
It's the TV.
It's definitely the TV.
It's the last thing you see before the show starts.
Exactly. It's that last moment before you can relax and be like, oh, good, the comforting, warm glow of The Simpsons.
And the TV's warm, glowing, warming glow.
All right,
Perfect.
sir.
Perfect.
That is a second lock. That backline's done.
Let's move on to pawns.
God, I loved it. I want more backlines. This is hot. Okay, we're on to pawns. It's going to be difficult, people, because, oh my word, there are a lot of characters in a show that has spawned this many. It's going to be difficult. We're going to allow ourselves an overflow, of course.
Of course.
You know, so we can let people, a couple of honourable mentions.
Because
sir,
we're
that in
nerds.
mind. First pawn.
Well, since he didn't go into the back line, I think it only makes sense to put Grandpa in as our first pawn.
I have any argument with Abe Simpson, little from column A, little from column B. What a guy.
Look what happened to me without my pills.
We're free, we can do whatever we want. It's cold. I'm going back inside.
I don't like the look of those teenagers. You know, we could do this for just a full half hour on its own. Let's move on to our second.
If we get into impressions, this show is going to become a marathon. I'll give you my next pawn, sir.
Yeah.
I'm going with Mo Sislak.
Of course. The man who delivers Homer his elixirs.
The man who teaches a breakdancing class that shows you that when someone's, talking up to your hottie or whatnot, you fire off a shotgun. Your fly girl. He buys a flash fryer that can flash fry a buffalo in 3 seconds, but it's not quick enough for Homer.
I really would have liked to have tried that buffalo.
He was a boxer.
That's right.
Right. He was, gorgeous Mo, right down to Mo ugly or whatever.
Flaming Mo.
Love it.
Cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir, hit me with your third.
Okay, well, Mo is related to Homer, of course. So I think the next one should be Milhouse.
Milhouse Van Houten. What an absolute horrific life that boy has ahead of him, and he has no idea.
He's the Butters of the show.
Oh, it's a difficult position to be in.
His life is awful.
His continuous chasing of Lisa is genuinely depressing.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that they intimate that Lisa sleeps with him, but she doesn't count it as having...
She doesn't count it as losing her virginity.
It doesn't count.
Amazing.
So?
And sir, I do hear you repeat a phrase on a daily basis.
Which is?
It's Milhouse related.
Everything's coming up Milhouse?
Everything is coming up Milhouse. He's on our board. He finally gets a victory. Sir, I'm going to hit you with my fourth.
Yeah?
And I'm going to give you Krusty the Clown.
Perfect.
You can't not.
No, you can't.
You cannot.
He's the entertainment. He's a representative of everything that is great and spectacular and terrible about Hollywood.
He has an astonishing way of always having adventures with Bart and Lisa, but never knowing who they are outside of those particular episodes.
That's right.
Need to point out, in the first season, in the first couple of episodes, Bart's the one that saves Krusty from jail.
That's right.
Yeah, when he hits Sideshow Bob with a comedy-sized mallet on his foot to prove a point. Shh, listeners, spoiler. You might hear a little more.
Of course, Kelsey Grammer. All right, so we're halfway through, I believe.
Yeah, this is agonizing because I'm thinking about a lot of names here, but give me your fifth.
I'm going to go with the Guildenstern and Rosencrantz of the show. Do a double, Lenny and Carl.
Lenny and Carl. And it's time to explain something, viewers. We're very free and easy here. We're not rigid men. We're flexible. We're ready for change. Some porn pieces and even backline pieces do not have to be single characters.
No.
And a prime example right now, sir, I love it. The ultimate platonic relationship.
They love each other so much.
Lenny and Carl.
Yeah, and they're also massive support system for Homer.
Breaking down barriers.
So that, I believe, is piece number 5.
When Lenny comes back to save... when Carl comes back to save Lenny from the lava.
Oh.
Genuinely beautiful moment.
Lenny is a war hero. He's not supposed to get pudding in there.
And I will say this... and I will say this in front of Daniel's face. I wish I could have ever felt friendship like that.
Oh.
Yep, that's right, sir. You've never touched me in that way. And on that bombshell, I'm going to hand you my 6th. Sir, I would very much like to see Barney Gumble.
Of course, Barnard Gumble.
Barnard Gumble. Mr. Black and White Cinema himself.
The Plow King.
Absolute, the Plow King.
Does he have the crown on and the Plow King jacket, or does he just have the schlubby pink golf shirt that he has?
I'd like to see him mid being ejected from Moe's door.
Oh, nice. I like it.
It's going to be a complicated piece, people, and for a porn it seems like a lot of work. But I like him. He's awesome. Let's keep him in there.
All right.
And I'm going to ask you, sir, for your 7th.
My 7th piece? I kind of like Ralph Wiggum.
Ralph Wiggum? Mr. Choo Choo Choose Him himself.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to make this pleasant. This is the first episode. But straight up, in a show full of characters, you want to put Ralph Wiggum
He's like...
on the board?
He's so important and dumb.
Is he important?
I mean, I'm willing to hear out your arguments as to why I shouldn't go with a character that I love.
My argument is pure and simple, sir. If we were going with characters we love, I'd put Gil on that board, okay?
You're putting Gil in
No,
that
no,
board?
I'm not. That's my
Okay.
point, sir, because I'm an intelligent man and I'm letting emotions take ahead of me, okay? And I love Gil. I love Glengarry Glen Ross. If you don't know that Gil is based on Shelley Levine, the Machine Levine, played by Jack Lemmon, then I don't want to know you, okay? But I'm not putting him on that board, sir.
You're not putting Ralph Wiggum on the board.
Because I'm a professional, and I'll tell you who you should have on that board, and I'm surprised you've forgotten, Patty and Selma.
Well, who's to say that I wasn't going to put them in the 8th spot?
Well, so that's a little risky, isn't it?
Patty and Selma is
Considering the 8th spot was my spot.
fine. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have not mastered this game yet, sir.
No.
No.
Okay, Patty and Selma.
Patty and Selma have to be in there. You gotta love. Can they have Chub Chub?
Of course, I was just about... Wow, we're really connected, you and I.
This is
As-
emotion. I
As
like
rocky
you.
as our friendship is.
I like you marginally more now than I did when you came in my house, and I was really tempted just to push you back out and lock the door. Other than that, sir, I'll give you my 8th and final piece.
Hear it?
Sorry. Okay. What about Apu?
Apu.
He's borderline.
And he's connected to everybody.
He is. He has big personal storylines. He almost always pops up in every episode.
Representative of convenience culture in the United States.
That's a deep cut, Sarah. I like it. Get in there, link up that social commentary, let people know we're highbrow. I love it. I mean, I will say there are other choices. I mean, you know, you're talking about Hans Moleman.
Yep.
You're talking about Reverend Lovejoy,
Oh man, Rod and Todd Flanders.
Rod and Todd Flanders. But we've got Ned in there. He can have them. Listeners, that's the first triple piece.
Of many. Edna Krabappel.
Oh.
Groundskeeper Willie. Ralph Wiggum.
I wish you'd stop saying Ralph Wiggum
Gil.
with those giant sad eyes, because it makes me want to help you out and put them in there.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay, sir, or Cypress Hill. All right, sir, I'm going to give you Ralph Wiggum.
Replacing who?
No, he was the 8th.
Oh, he's the 8th?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd give it
Thank
to you, sir. I'm a kind
Thank you.
man. I'm not a bad guy. And with that bombshell obscure finish, we find ourselves at the end of the first ever Checkmates half board. And you know what? I'm excited to get to the second side when we approach those antagonists.
Woohoo!
Daniel,
Yes, sir.
we'll check you on the other side.
Check you on the other side.
Doodle-doo-doodle-doo.
Welcome back to the inaugural episode of the Checkmates. We've covered our protagonists. It's time to cover our antagonists. Again, really don't feel like there's going to be a lot of surprises in the beginning of our backline.
You know what, sir? It's one of those situations where happily I haven't got to put you in your place, because the obvious king of bad in The Simpsons, and I'm going to let you say it, sir.
You're going to let me say it?
I'm going to let you say it.
Mr. Burns.
I was hoping you were going to say it with a less embarrassing impression.
C. Montgomery Burns.
I'll take what I can get, which isn't much. Yes, Mr. Burns. And as Lisa puts it, when you're trying to be nice, you're even more evil.
He's so awful. Did you ever play the arcade game?
Of course. Oh my god, the arcade game is one of the greatest arcade games of all time.
Still holds up.
I'm telling you, I remember playing it and like being so overwhelmed and like, how is this possible in terms of technology when you could jump on another player's back?
Oh my
or
God.
do the combo moves? That blew my mind.
And like the animation was perfect, and like
Yeah,
I've played it on emulators ever since. I love it.
Now straight up, if Burns is the king, we ain't gonna argue.
No,
Who's that queen?
it's Smithers holding a Malibu Stacy doll.
Of course, it's Smithers holding a Malibu Stacy doll.
Knew that.
And listeners, before you shout at us and say, "Oh, Smithers isn't an antagonist," get real. That man facilitates the awfulness of Burns' plans.
The banality of evil.
Yeah, he is driven by lust, and nothing else.
Oh, the scene where Mr. Burns flies in Smithers' dream.
Oh my goodness, through the window?
Yeah, like he's not inherently a bad person most of the time. It's just that he facilitates evil, as you said.
Yeah, so he has no excuse. He is our queen, no argument. But sir, who's your first bishop?
Gets a little complicated from here. I went a little bit off kilter, off the beaten path, and my first bishop, you're gonna fight me on this probably, is Artie Ziff.
Artie Ziff. No, you know what? I'm not unimpressed by your choice. It's the wrong choice, but I'm not unimpressed by it. So, it's okay. But sir, I love him. He's in numerous episodes. He's always a bad guy. He has no redeeming quality.
No, and he's as much a villain of Marge's as he is of Homer's.
It's a good choice. I'm going to throw you my first bishop.
Okay.
I've gone with, if you're talking about bishops and scheming and plotting and, heading down a path there of problematic situations, I'm going with Sideshow Bob.
Yeah? I have him as a knight.
As a knight?
Yeah, because we were talking about, first of all, he's Bart's arch enemy.
He certainly is.
And second of all, he's like an arbiter of violence.
Well, but here's my problem though, sir. He's far better at making plans than he is carrying out
executing
violence.
them?
Yeah. That's why he's my bishop and not a knight.
It's a good thing you drifted past this brothel. So you want to move Sideshow Bob up to bishop?
Well, I'm saying I prefer him in a situation, but I'm curious. Who's your second bishop?
Frank Grimes.
Frank Grimes, Homer's arch nemesis.
For one episode.
An arch nemesis that you really feel bad for. It's been a tough life.
It really has.
Homer Simpson lives in a mansion.
I know he's a cartoon character and he's cell animation, but when he's like, "You've been to space?" And Homer looks at him and says, "You've never been?" You can see the expression on his face change.
It's a good choice. I like it.
Awful thing to hear from someone you hate.
But let me hit you with my choice of second bishop. I'm going with Scorpio. Because if you're talking about a leader, if you're talking about someone that leads a congregation as such, with charisma and charm, and absolutely, it doesn't matter if we like him as a character. The fact is, he blows up most of the
Eastern Seaboard.
Yes, he's a bad person.
Of course, he has the flamethrower, right?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
And he has a little button on the back. When you press it, it goes Scorpio.
Nice. Is he laughing maniacally? Of course he's laughing.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
All right.
Okay, so, sir, we got those 4 choices. Who are we going for?
So we've got, just to backtrack, we've got Sideshow Bob and we've got Hank Scorpio as our bishops.
You like those 2?
I do.
I like your conceding, sir. It shows the kind of worm of a man that you are. I appreciate you being this open with our listeners.
It's easier not to fight you.
Love it. All right, then, sir, I'll tell you what. Give me your first knight.
Okay, well, it's a good thing that Bart has multiple arch enemies because his other arch enemy is Nelson Muntz.
Nelson Muntz.
Captain Ha-Ha.
He is an absolute warrior. And let's not forget, it's very brushed over, but when Bart takes his place in the police car when Homer is doing the football coaching.
Oh, yeah.
He is being picked up for attempted murder.
That's right.
Lest we forget.
That's right. And he's a crumb bum.
But also the man with the greatest line in Simpsons of all time, no question, gotta nuke something.
Nuke the whales?
Gotta nuke something. I like that choice. I'll give you one of mine, sir.
Okay.
I went Drederick Tatum.
Wow.
Double piece with Lucius.
He almost kills Homer.
He is not a good person. He comes out of jail for pushing his mother down the stairs.
That's right.
And in his parole hearing says he would definitely reconsider it. That's not a good person.
I like them personally, but I'm gonna have to make widows of his wife, orphans of his children.
Yeah, I imagine she would.
Orphans of his children.
But he has a wife. Yeah, but I would imagine she would die from the
grief.
Impression. Yeah, from the grief. All right. So, what's your second?
Really
night?
butchered that. What is a Simpsons line if you can't butcher, at least a few of them? We've got our 2 knights, do we not?
Well, I haven't heard your second choice tonight, sir.
My second choice of night was Sideshow Bob.
Oh, I see what you're saying. He's taken. Let me hit you with my second choice so he can pick from 3. I went with Fat Tony.
That was my other choice as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, he was my first pawn, but like, again, such an important, and again, like he does antagonistic things to all of the characters in the show.
He's constantly a side character. He's had a couple of episodes where he was a main character. He fought the Yakuza outside Homer's house.
Oh my god, I love that scene.
He didn't get to see what the quiet guy did, but it was sure as hell impressive.
The monies. My wife, she keeps asking me, where are the monies?
When is the money coming?
When are you going to get the monies? So please, the monies.
So are we good then? Are we saying Drederick Tatum, Fat Tony?
I thought we were saying Nelson and Fat Tony.
Okay, I'll accept that as a compromise. Nelson on one side, Fat Tony on the other. Is Fat Tony flanked by his crew?
At least legs.
At least legs.
And maybe Johnny Tightlips.
Johnny Tightlips, what a character. He ain't saying it, but we know what he means.
Who did this to you? I ain't saying nothing.
All right, that's a lock. Rooks. Easy answer again, I feel,
Right?
given our king and queen.
Absolutely. The nuclear smokestacks.
So it couldn't be anything else. They're perfectly shaped for a rook. It's going to look gorgeous skating across the piece. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's go with it.
Okay.
All
Let's
right.
jump into our pawns.
Oh, it's pawn time, people. And oh my goodness, it's going to be painful again because there's a lot of choices. Sir, give me your first choice.
It gets a bit obscure, though, but yes. So my first choice, I'm going to go into the Treehouse of Horror episodes, and I'm going to do yet another double piece of Kang and Kodos.
Kang and Kodos. You know what? They are in enough episodes. I think that is an acceptable choice for antagonists.
Yep.
I love it. They want to know how to cook for 40 humans. Nothing more sinister than that.
Sure, vote a third party. Throw your vote away.
Now no one will believe your story, Rummy. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm down. Plus, they were also in the Jerry Springer episode, so, extra points.
Love it.
Okay, they're in. I'll give you my first pawn choice, sir. Mayor Joe Quimby.
Diamond Joe.
Diamond Joe is not a good person. He is an adulterer. He is a swindler. He's corrupt. He's a terrible example of the government's slippery hand control over our lives.
Yeah, no, I love it. And, also just exemplifies political corruption. Perfect.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, let's roller coaster our way to your second choice.
Okay, so we're into 2 pawns, right? And so you handily and summarily rejected my choice of Artie Ziff for a bishop. He needs to go into the pawns.
He needs to go in the pawns. He needs to be there.
I am watching you run a camera. Right?
Don't you have that exact CPAP machine?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Artie Ziff watches me sleep and listens to me sleep.
He does. And let me tell you something, viewers. I've seen Daniel sleep, and it is hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put a lot of effort into it.
I don't know how he sleeps sexy, but he does. I like it. He's in there in his helicopter.
Who you got for pawn number 4?
My pawn number 4, sir, is Dr. Nick.
Dr. Nick Riviera.
Yeah, we all love him, but let's face facts here. He is a malpractice doctor. He has no training. He kills people. He faces lawsuits for it. He is not a good person.
And as the show got older and as America got older, he again exemplifies what's wrong with healthcare in the United States.
The man electrocutes Abe Simpson to stop his skeleton jumping out of his mouth.
It works, I think, though.
Well, his skeleton didn't jump out of his mouth, so you can't argue with the results.
Cured his dum-dum fever.
Very true. So I like him being in there.
Dr. Nick, eh?
He's in.
So he's pawn number 4.
Pawn number 4, sir. Oh my goodness, we're skating along. I'm a little upset because I'm looking down and I'm seeing at least 12 names. Give me your 5th.
Okay. So we did not have Drederick Tatum. in the back line,
has to be there.
right? It was Nelson and Fat Tony, right?
Yeah, he has to be
Yeah,
there.
so we got to have Dredrick Tatum in there.
gotta be in
We've gone
there.
through everything that makes him a villain.
Easy choice for number
On number
5.
5.
I tell you what, then I'll throw out my number 6 at you right now. And it's an odd choice, sir.
Okay.
But I'm going Police Chief Wiggum.
Yeah. So, yeah, enlighten our listeners as to why Chief Wiggum is a villain.
Okay, let's get, like I know we all love him. He's fun. He's interesting. He's humorous. Let's face facts. He's an incompetent idiot who is in charge of the safety of that city and its citizens. We see him try to take bribes from Bart at the carnival when he works the carny stand. You know, he's corrupt and he's incompetent. He's an antagonist.
He ruins Marge's bust of the counterfeit jeans ring in Homer's car hole. I know. He's nakedly corrupt. He's a good dad, though. He does really love Ralphie.
I mean, so I don't know if we need to get that emotionally attached to this chessboard.
Maybe you don't.
I don't care how he treats his son. I care about how he jeopardizes the safety of an entire town. So, give me a next.
Pawn number 6?
Pawn number 7.
Pawn number 7, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're getting into some
It's getting worrying.
slightly obscure territory here.
I don't know, sir. I've still got big names.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. So do I. But I love Homer versus the monorail. And so I'm going with Lyle Landley.
I love Lyle Landley. If this show was long enough, I would do the entire monorail song. Is there a chance the track could bend? Not on my life, you Hindu friend.
Were you sent here by the... Okay, look at... Just, you know.
Don't, because then I'll just segue into we put the spring in Springfield. and then it just see my vest, and there's no turning back at that point.
I know. It's almost like they could make a whole CD of songs from... Oh, wait, they did.
But sir, here's what I'm going to say. It's a single episode character.
Okay.
Without the impact of Scorpio.
So is Frank Grimes. And
No.
so is Hank Scorpio.
I mean, okay, but more impact. I'm sorry. You know, put in Maple Paul. Mm-hmm. Put in Maple Paul, because I'm going to throw a better idea at you.
Okay.
Okay.
For number 7.
For number 7, to argue against it. What about Snake?
Okay.
Come on. Absolute villain. Plus, when he's killed, his hair tries to kill Bart Simpson.
It does.
I mean, that is beyond evil into...
Premium, dude! She needs premium, dude! Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no,
Snake instead of Lyle Landley?
he tries to kill Homer with fishing wire.
He
when
does.
He took his car. So,
He does.
So I think, for me, that's a firm, confident lock at 7.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, there are so many options we could go for
There
with
are.
our last
I
one.
tell you what, let's both throw one out and we'll put it against your other choice.
Okay. I want Devil Ned Flanders.
Devil Ned Flanders is a classic character. I love him. I'm going to hit you with a better choice.
Of course you are.
A character that is continuously in the show. A man that emphasizes malpractice. A man that you have to swap words around to figure out that he repeatedly ran over a judge's son, Lionel Hutz.
Okay. And he is definitely a villain.
Yeah, tell me either of your other choices have the longevity of Lionel Hutz and the man, I mean, attempted murder.
And, like, again, misrepresenting the Simpsons, representing the awful legal system in the United States.
He once finished a case and then had to become the defendant against the United Nations.
And honestly, there are how many Phil Hartman characters? I don't think we have any of them represented on this board.
So, I don't know about you, but I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'm happy with it too.
Oh my god. And on that bombshell,
Yes,
we find ourselves at the end of the first ever Checkmates board.
except let's talk about our overflow a
I
little
really
bit.
do want to throw out some names because I feel bad.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do one each and then back and forth. You go first.
I like Rich Texan.
Oh, classic character. I like
Yeehaw!
I like Hans Moleman. his piece would be being hit by a football.
Right. Itchy and Scratchy.
Oh, that was a tough one to miss out.
You could even do Robot, Itchy and Scratchy if you really
I
wanted
had
to.
Cecil.
Cecil?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could also do the three other bullies, Jimbo, Dolph, and Kearney.
Oh my goodness. As previously mentioned, Gil, and what about Reverend Lovejoy?
Yeah, he is a villain too. What about the crazy cat lady? Right? Yeah.
There's Jacques from season 1, who tries to sleep with Marge.
Yeah, I think in our conversation about this before we actually started recording, you talked about how Jacques, you wanted to be like your bishop or something like that. That was stupid.
Yeah, that was dumb, and I wasn't. That's why I didn't put it in the recording. But thank you so much for exposing me.
Yeah, it was really stupid.
And on that expose bombshell, we are at the end of this chessboard. Listeners, it's been a pleasure. I feel like we're going to speak many times in the future.
We have a ton more in the hopper.
But for me, from Nick, it's goodbye.
From Daniel, it's goodbye. Nick, see us out.
You know what? We'll check you later.
We'll check you later.
Checkmate.